And the protector places himself between his people and anything or anyone that would do them harm. Nehemiah 4:14. And I looked and arose and said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. Notice anything missing there? Husbands and fathers. Why? Because he's talking to husbands and fathers about standing up and being the protectors of their wives and their children and their homes. This is their duty. Again, 1 Peter chapter 3, we already looked at with this idea of women as the weaker vessels who are protected and cherished and cared for. What do we look for in the protector? Because our time is drawing nigh here. Number one, he must be a man of personal strength. He must be a man of personal strength. Notice I didn't say physical strength. That's not the point here. We're not talking about somebody who's a brawler, but a man of personal strength who is willing to put himself between his people and anyone or anything that would do them harm. Secondly, he must be a man of wisdom and not a fool, because if he's a fool, he'll bring trouble. He'll bring trouble. The fool is the one who needs the personal strength because he doesn't have sense enough to get out of physical altercations. He needs to be wise and not a fool. And then finally, he needs to be a man of courage and conviction. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Because when I say this, people always think about physical strength. And I'm not against physical strength and, things like that. That's not my point here. But we're not seeing families torn apart because men don't have physical strength to protect them. We're seeing families torn apart because men don't have spiritual strength and wisdom to protect them. I'll give you one example. Men who don't protect their families from things that come into the household to destroy. Men who don't monitor what comes into the family. Or men who themselves are feeding on things like pornography. Not only are you not protecting your family, but you are the portal through which this is coming in to your family and your household. And why do I bring this up? Because it's a huge issue right now. The Economist had an article, red light moment. Pornography is booming during COVID-19 lockdown. The article begins, pornography is having a good pandemic. As an industry, it is well adapted to a world in lockdown. It has already largely moved online and its consumers often voluntarily self-isolate. Psychology Today, how the pandemic is changing pornography. This article reads in part, the coronavirus pandemic is affecting not just the amount and type of porn being produced, but also how much porn people are consuming and what they're searching for on major sites. Pornography was already the #1 use of the internet. And this pandemic has only fueled the fire. I wonder how many of us, see it as our duty and our role to be a protector in this regard. To be a protector first in terms of being a man of personal strength. See, not physical strength, personal strength. A man of personal wisdom and a man of personal courage. Do you see how this completely changes the entire discussion? See, when I first said this, you were thinking about, going toe to toe with an intruder. And God forbid you should have to do that, but I hope you would, instead of telling your wife, get him. But more than likely, that's not the kind of protector your family is going to need you to be. More than likely, your family is going to need you to be the kind of protector who puts themselves between something like this and them.